Hello and welcome to session 373, Becoming Peace, Meditation and Inspiration. The name of today's session is Healing from Past Hurts in Solitude. You know, there's nothing like a good dose of life experience to weave you through deep lessons that only experiences can deliver. Being completely transparent here, I guess this is why these meditations have taken this turn since this new year started. I find myself in solitude most days and nights. Loneliness is a harsh and yet necessary teacher. So I'm learning. When you've lived 60 plus years, deeply entrenched in serving others through your work and your own family, and then all of a sudden you find yourself knee-deep in alone time, it's a stark reality. Not even knowing what to do with yourself, your frame of mind, what you dwell on, and trying desperately to adjust to the sound of the seconds hand on the clock, reverberating throughout your house. I believe this talk by Jonathan Chan, which we're taking these thoughts from, saved me in many ways. For anyone out there going through this type of an adjustment, the aloneness and finding yourself in solitude most often, stay true. Be grateful. Be willing to look at life a little differently. Because most of our lives, I've learned we find ourselves in places and spaces we never thought we would be. So let's get started today. Let's take a deep breath in, and while we do so, give thanks to our Creator that we get to breathe in and out and live on this planet yet one more day. Take one more deep breath in and enjoy how taking in oxygen in your lungs feels so nourishing and life-giving. Be aware of your lungs and how they support your entire body and each individual cell. Let's relax into our posture and take the load off for the next 10 minutes. You get a rest, and take this rest and revel in it. Let's talk about healing from past hurts in solitude. As we learn to rely on God, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace, knowing that we don't have to navigate life on our own. We can trust that God will provide guidance and strengthen us, even when we feel weak or uncertain. Solitude also provides us with the opportunity to surrender our control to God. In a world that encourages us to be in charge, to have a plan, and to control our circumstances. It can be very difficult to let go and trust God's plan. But in the stillness of aloneness, we are reminded that we're not in control. We cannot dictate the course of our lives or determine the outcomes of every situation. But we can trust that God is in control and that His plan is better than anything we could have imagined for ourselves. Aloneness strips away the illusion of control, leaving us with only the choice to trust God fully and surrender to His will. You see, it's not really what happens to us. It's about how we react to the circumstances. But during times of solitude, God teaches us to depend on Him for everything, not just when things are difficult, but in all aspects of our lives. Whether it's in our daily decisions, our relationships, or work, our desires to be our guide in every area. But it's often in aloneness that we're most acutely aware of our need for His guidance. Without the distractions of other voices or the pressure of external expectations, we can listen more closely to God's direction. And in solitude, we learn to seek His will above all else and lean into trust that His plan for us is good, even when we don't fully understand. As we lean on God for guidance, we grow in wisdom and discernment, learning to take and make decisions that align with His will for our lives. Aloneness is also an opportunity for God to strengthen our faith. When everything around us is uncertain, when we're alone and vulnerable, we must make a conscious choice to trust God. This kind of trust doesn't come easily and requires us to let go of our own understanding and to place our confidence in God's ability to handle our lives. But it is in these moments of uncertainty, when we're alone and unsure of what the future holds, that our faith is tested and strengthened. Each time we choose to trust God, despite our doubts and our fears, our faith grows. We learn that He is faithful and that He'll never leave us or forsake us, and that He is always with us, even in our loneliest moments. The more we learn to rely on Him in the silence of solitude, the more we realize that He is all we actually need. As we surrender our independence and learn to depend on Him, we discover that God is sufficient for every need we have. Whether we're facing challenges in our personal lives, our careers, or our relationships, we can trust that God will provide the strength, the wisdom, and guidance that we need. In the aloneness, we learn that we don't need to have everything figured out because God already has a plan. We simply need to trust Him, lean on Him, and depend on His faithfulness. God uses aloneness to refine our hearts and build our dependence on Him. In the quiet, we learn that we're not meant to carry the weight of the world alone. He is our strength, our provider, and our guide. And even though we're alone, the more we embrace aloneness as a time to rely on God, the more we experience His presence in a profound way. In those moments of solitude, God teaches us that He is enough, and that through Him we can face any challenge with confidence alone. This is not a time to fear, but a time to grow in our reliance on Him, to trust in His faithfulness, and to experience His strength in a way that transforms our lives. And a final thought. When we're alone, it can be tempting to feel that we're abandoned or forsaken. But in reality, God often uses solitude to refine us and prepare us for the challenges and responsibilities ahead. So, as we move into meditation today, here are 2 questions to ponder. Even though you cannot see the answers, are you willing to set your own expectations aside and let God take the wheel? And consider, in what ways are you able to show God that you're surrendering to His will in your life? I'm going to mind the time for you and gladly hold this space for peace and inspiration to flow through you. Come back when you hear a soft bell. let's come back. Take in deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth, expelling all the turbidity and allowing the inspiration you just felt to integrate into your soul. Peace comes when I allow God to refine my heart through the stillness. Thank you for showing up today and considering these thoughts today and the past few sessions on how and why God might give you an opportunity at some point in your life to experience stillness, solitude, and aloneness for your benefit. Please share this session with someone you love. I'll be back next week, and I hope you choose to join me. And just remember this week, be very mindful of the things that you take into your body, mind, heart, and soul. Remember to take in light-bearing activities, thoughts, food, music, places that you dwell. It makes a difference. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.